Hey guys, welcome back for another video. What we're going to be doing today is we'll be looking at all of our MLB matchups we have coming up for Saturday, March 29th. We're going to completely break these games down, try to predict the outcome, who's going to win, who's going to lose, what the final score may be, but we'll also be focusing on the best bets, the money lines, the spreads, the over-unders. Major League Baseball season is now in full swing. We have our first weekend of MLB games. Guys, make sure to hit that like button first. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments about these games or anything else, by all means, drop them below, and I'm going to respond to every single one of them. Like I was just saying, Major League Baseball, it's off to a great start so far. We've had some good games. We have every single team playing today. We have 15 matchups in total. We're going to break these games down, break the rosters down. Our main goal is to try to get that outcome down. Who's going to be winning this weekend and trying to start out the season with some momentum. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get started. There's 15 games, so we got to start rolling. The very first matchup we have coming up is the Yankees versus the Brewers. This game is going to be in the Bronx. It's going to be at 1:05 p.m. As of right now, the Yankees are the favorites, 59% chance to win this game. Milwaukee, 41% chance to win this game. Yankees, 1.5 run favorites. The over-under here is 8.5. They have a minus 156, and the Brewers are plus 132. And it's a really interesting matchup that we actually have because we have two pitchers that have switched teams. We have Nestor Cortez left the Yankees. He'll be starting for the Brewers, and he's going to be pitching against Max Fried, the newcomer to the Yankees. One of the guys the Yankees are really going to need to step up this season because you obviously lost Garrett Cole, so you need Rodon. You need Fried to have career-type seasons. The Yankees, even without Cole, still have one of the best pitching staffs in all of baseball, but obviously you want all of those guys on point for you to actually have a chance to make up where you left off last season and potentially compete for the World Series. Looking at this matchup here, last season the Brewers, they averaged 4.8 runs per game. They hit 248. Their team ERA, 3.65. In New York, they averaged 5 runs per game. They had a lot of power last season, but they obviously lost Juan Soto, and they hit 248. Their team ERA, 3.74. You need the newcomers to continue to step up. Goldschmidt, Bellinger, they have to get back to form. They're no longer young, but they're still career veteran, experienced players. You just need them to hit in that 270 to 280 range, and you let Aaron Judge do the rest. He's a guy, might be the best hitter in baseball. He's at least a top 3 player in the major leagues. But there's going to be a tough matchup for the Yankees to win back-to-back games here versus the Brewers versus their old pitcher. But I'm going to go with Max Fried making the difference, and I have the Yankees winning this one in a 5-3 matchup. So I have them covering the spread, but we're just slightly going with the under. And our next game is going to be at 2:10 p.m. We're going to have the Los Angeles Angels versus the Chicago White Sox. The Angels, it's a shame. They really have to build some momentum. They're not expecting a lot from the Angels team this season, but if they can start out the season right, hopefully they can kind of catapult that to some success, but they're going to need a lot of players to stay healthy, namely Mike Trout to finally give us a healthy season. And on the other side, Chicago, what did they lose this past season? Like 121 games? That's about as bad as it can get. They have to be able to get better here. There's really nowhere to go but up. They're going to be bad, but they just have to be better than where they were last season. As of right now, you have the Chicago White Sox as the underdogs. The Angels come in 1.5 run favorites. The over in here is 8.5. They're minus 164. Chicago is plus 138. The Angels 60% chance to win this game. Chicago has a 40% chance to win this game. Both of these teams did not play yesterday, but obviously they did kick things off on Thursday. Looking at the team matchups here from where they kind of finished last season, the Angels averaged 3.9 runs per game. They hit 229. One of the worst offenses in the major leagues, but they're always battling a lot of injuries and a really bad pitching staff. 4.56 ERA. Chicago is right there with them with one of the worst pitching performance staffs in all of baseball. Their ERA last year, 4.68. They averaged 3.1 runs per game. That's right, 3.1. Really bad batting performances here. They hit 221. You might have two of the worst hitting rosters in Major League Baseball facing off here in the first weekend of baseball. This is going to be a tough game because it's just basically going to be who can perform the least worst in this matchup. We're going to go with the Angels winning a very, very close, very low scoring game. We have them winning this one 4-3. We're going with that plus 1.5, and we're going to go with the under. And then our next game at 2:15 p.m. on Fox Sports 1, we're going to have the Minnesota Twins versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Obviously, the Twins, they didn't have the start they wanted on Thursday. They were both off yesterday, but we know that they have one of the more powerful lineups in baseball. When they're playing, when they're healthy, they have a lineup with a lot of power that's going to catapult them potentially to the playoffs this season. St. Louis, not a lot of people were expecting much from the season, but they showed a lot of fight when they got their win Thursday night, and you have to respect Nolan Arenado and what he can do to lead this team, guide this team, and try to put together a really strong season, or he's going to potentially be trade bait for them at the halfway point. As of right now, the Twins, they are the Vegas frontrunners, 1.5 run favorites. They're minus 125. The over-under is 7.5. The Cardinals, plus 105 with that 7.5 over-under. Minnesota comes in here, 53% chance to win this game on the road. St. Louis, 47% chance to win this game. Looking at the pitching matchup, the Twins, they're going to be going with Ryan, and St. Louis is going to be going with Feedy. This game is going to be close. St. Louis took the first one of this matchup. Twins were favored that game. They still dropped it. I'm expecting those bats to wake up this weekend, though. We're potentially going to see some home runs here. To me, it just feels like there's going to be some runs scored in this matchup. Last season, the Twins, 4.6 runs per game. They hit 246. Their ERA, 4.26. And for St. Louis, 4.1 runs a game. They hit 248. Their team ERA, 4.04. I'm going to go with the Twins winning this one. I'm going to go out on a ledge. For some reason, I'm feeling some runs scored. I have the Twins winning it 7-5, covering the spread, going with the over. And then moving to the American League East at 3:07 p.m., we're going to have the Baltimore Orioles visiting the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays at home are going to be 1.5 run favorites. They're minus 127. The Orioles plus 107. The over-under here is 8.5. I said in the video yesterday looking at this matchup, I said the Orioles took game 1. Look for Toronto to take game 2. Their bats are going to wake up. The whole middle of their order on the Thursday game was completely quiet. You weren't going to keep them down Friday night. They woke up. They won that game 8-2, and it's the stars that led the way. Bichette, Guerrero, Santander, Springer, they put together a really good performance. The thing is, can they keep that momentum into this game? This is two teams that can score runs. This is two teams with stacked lineup. Baltimore, they have a stacked lineup. Rochman, Westberg, O'Hearn, O'Neal, they have a lot of weapons as well. They have a lot of young weapons. Where they lack is on their pitching staff. But basically, when you can score runs, anything can happen. As of right now, you have Baltimore 46% chance to win this game, Toronto a 54% chance to win this game. And looking at the pitching matchup, you're going to have Creamer going for the Orioles. You're going to have Scherzer himself going for Toronto, the veteran. He's 59 years old. He's back for another season to make another run at the playoffs. I have Toronto winning this game, and Scherzer, the 59-year-old himself, dominating in this game, but he's probably only going to play, honestly, let's say 5 innings max. But I have Toronto winning this one 6-2. Covering the spread, going with the under. And then at 4:05 p.m., we have the Philadelphia Phillies visiting the Washington Nationals. The Nationals, they just don't want to finish at the bottom of the NL East. They'll be competing down there with the Marlins. They can build some momentum here with their in-division rival coming to town. Right now, Phillies took game 1. They were both off yesterday. Philadelphia is the favorite on the road, 59% chance to win this game. Washington, 41% chance to win this game. Phillies, 1.5 run favorites, minus 158, 8.5 over under, and Washington plus 133. Looking at this matchup, Phillies, I've been saying this about a couple teams. They do have one of the best lineups. Some people have them in the top 2 to 3 lineups in all of baseball. They have power. They have speed. They have guys that can get on base. They're going to be throwing out Luzardo to pitch, and Washington is going to be throwing out Irving. Last season, you had Philadelphia 4.8 runs per game. They can score, and they have a lot of pop in that middle of the order. They hit 257. Their team ERA 3.85. Really good starting rotation. They might have a top 3 rotation in all of baseball as well. Very well-rounded team. A World Series worthy, World Series caliber team. And for Washington, they average 4.1 runs. They hit 243. Their team ERA 4.3. We have Philadelphia winning this one, moving to 2-0 on the season. They win it 5-3. They cover the spread, but just slightly going with the under. And at 4:10 p.m., we have the Pittsburgh Pirates visiting the Miami Marlins. These two games have split the series so far. Marlins took the first one. Pirates won the game last night. They won that one 4-3. Both teams had 7 hits. The Pirates were able to ride Cruz to success. He also had his first home run of this season. The Marlins, they got to get those bats going. They were very unsuccessful hitting last season. They don't want that to be the case this year. They have one of the worst teams in baseball picking up from where they left off last year, but they got to get that momentum going during the regular season. Right now, Pittsburgh, they're going to come into this game on the road as the favorite. 1.5 run favorite, minus 126 at 8.5 over under. The Marlins are plus 106. Pittsburgh, 53% chance to win this game. Miami has a 47% chance to win this game. Pittsburgh last season, 4.1 runs a game. They hit 234, a 4.15 ERA. And for Miami, 3.9 runs per game. They hit 244. And their team ERA, one of the worst in Major League Baseball, 4.73. Having Alcantara back, that's definitely going to help them. That's what got them their first win of the season. But he's just one guy. The rest of that starting rotation and that bullpen have to step up. We have Pittsburgh winning this one 4-2, covering the spread, going with the under. This next game is going to be interesting because we have a legend himself pitching at 4:10 p.m. We're going to have the San Francisco Giants versus the Cincinnati Reds. A lot of people are really excited for the Reds this season. Right now, the Reds at home, 1.5 run favorites. They're minus 124, 8.5 over under. San Francisco, they're plus 105, and that 8 and under is 8.5. San Francisco on the road, 47% chance to win this game. You have Cincinnati coming in here with a 53% chance to win this game. But when I was talking about a legend, I was talking about none other than Justin Verlander. If Scherzer's 59, Verlander's 64, he can already collect Social Security. But this guy is a legend, first ballot Hall of Famer. It is very difficult for me to go against Verlander in that first week of baseball. This guy, you know he's going to bring his A game no matter what. He's going to pitch his heart out. Right now, he's going to be pitching against Lodolo, and we have San Francisco last season, 4.3 runs a game. They hit 239. The team ERA 4.3. Cincinnati, 4.3 runs per game. They hit 231. The team ERA 4.09. Both teams practically tied. Both teams competing in the NL. San Francisco rolling out Verlander. I'm going to go with Verlander winning this one. I think he's going to at least give you 5 to 6 innings, maybe only give up 1 or 2 runs while he's pitching. I have faith in him this first week. I have San Francisco getting the upset win, 4-2, going with the plus 1.5, going with the under. And then there's 2 teams both competing to make the playoffs potentially this season. We have the Cleveland Guardians visiting the Kansas City Royals. This game is going to be at 4:10 p.m. The Royals at home, 1.5 run favorites. The over-under here is 8.5. They are minus 125, and Cleveland is plus 105. Kansas City has the favorite, 53% chance to win this game. Cleveland has a 47% chance to win this game. Looking at the matchup here, both teams are going to need a lot out of their starting rotation. Kansas City, they let Seth Lugo start last season, got a lot of success. You can attack the Mets for that. This guy wanted to start. They said no. He showed he can not just be a long-term reliever. This guy can step up on the mound, start out the games, and have a very successful season. You have Williams going for Cleveland. You have Lugo going for Kansas City. Last season, Cleveland, 4.4 runs a game. They hit 238. The team ERA 3.6 run. Kansas City, 4.5 runs per game. They have some young weapons. They hit 248. The team ERA 3.76. Kansas City, they're going to be rolling out some power here. They have some really good young players. Can those bats wake up, guide them to the win here? We have them doing so. We have Kansas City winning this game 7-4, covering the spread, going with the over. At 4:10 p.m., we're going to have the Colorado Rockies visiting the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays at home, they're going to be the favorite, 1.5 run favorites here. They are minus 203 and 8.5 over under. And Colorado on the road, they are plus 168. These teams actually got their start to this season yesterday. A little bit of a late start there. Tampa Bay was able to win that one 3-2. They got a performance out of Diaz and Lowe. They had a good game from Meisner. They had a lot of production come up. They were able to inch that game out. Both teams only had 7 hits. Colorado, they got to get some things going, but they're kind of sliding a little bit under the radar this season. Tampa Bay, you're going to be the favorites at home. You are in a very difficult, tough division. You have to win these out-of-conference games. For Colorado, they're going to be going with Sensella, and for Tampa Bay, they're going to be going with Littell. And you have Colorado last season, 4.2 runs per game. They hit 242. The team ERA, it's very hard to already pitch in Colorado. A very difficult place to play. Thin air, it doesn't help when the team ERA last season, 5.47, one of the worst you're going to see in Major League Baseball. Tampa Bay last year, 3.7 runs per game. They hit 230, a 3.77, almost 2 runs less than Colorado. And we have them winning by that much. You have Tampa Bay winning this one 5-2-3, covering the spread, slightly going with the under. And this next game is going to be a really tough one. Both teams, playoff caliber teams from the American League. Both teams have stacked lineups. A lot of people have Boston making the playoffs. A lot of people have the Rangers getting back to the playoffs. It's going to be the Red Sox visiting the Texas Rangers today at 7:05 p.m. You have the Rangers at home. They're going to be the underdogs here. Boston won the first one. Texas won that one 4-1 last night. They got a great performance. Seager, Langford, Peterson, they have the bats there. When this team is fully healthy, I'm excited to see Seager play the entire season. He was having an MVP caliber season last year. I think he had 123 games, hit 30 home runs. If he plays the whole year, we might get a 40 to 45 home run production out of him. This is a very talented team, but Boston, they made a lot of moves. They are loaded. Devers, Bregman, Story, Abreu, weapons up and down this roster as well, but you have Boston 1.5 run favorites. The over-under here is 9. Very high scoring game. Rangers -116, Boston -104. It's very interesting matchup here. You have Boston as their starting pitcher. They're going to be going with Buehler. Buehler, we know he has a high ceiling. We know he has a low floor. What version of him is going to start this season? He is healthy as of right now. If he gets back to his performance, he's really going to help that Boston Red Sox starting rotation take into the playoffs, but they need him to have a foundational game to get that momentum. And on the other side, we have Molly starting for the Texas Rangers. Boston last season, 4.6 runs a game. They hit 252, 4.04 ERA. Look for that to tick down this season. For the Rangers last season, 4.2 runs a game. They hit 238, ERA 4.35. Very difficult place to pitch at Texas. There's going to be runs here. There's going to be a home run this game. I'm looking at Corey Seager. You're the guy this game to get the Texas Rangers their second win. I have the Rangers winning this one, 6-4, going with the +1.5, and I'm still going to go with the over, even though that's pretty high. And then another interesting matchup, the New York Mets visiting the Houston Astros, 7:15 p.m. on Fox. Two teams fighting to get the playoffs. The Mets might have owned the offseason, bringing in Juan Soto, re-signing Pete Alonso, one of the most stacked offensive rosters in baseball. Where they lack is on their pitching staff. They don't really have a great starting rotation this season. They just have to hold up enough to get them to the playoffs and then let the bats do all the work. Right now, the Mets on the road, 1.5 run favorites. The Astros are +1.5. They are -124, 8.5 over-under. The Mets are +104. As of right now, the Mets, though, only a 47% fan vote to win this game. Houston, 53% chance to win this game. These teams have split this one so far. The Mets won last night. McGill got his first win of the season. He's one of those guys, can have a great game, could have a bad game. He had a great pitching performance last night. The Mets won that one 3-1, but more importantly, they got some production from Juan Soto. He had his first home run with the Met. He's a $765 million guy. Mets fans, you have to hope you get a lot more of those for the price that you paid for him. For the Mets, they're going to be going with Canning as a starting pitcher. And for Houston, Arrighetti. I hope I pronounced that right. I always have difficult saying that one. For the Mets, last season, 4.8 runs a game. They had 247. Team ERA 3.94. Houston, 4.6 runs per game. Very talented team at pure hitting and getting on base. They had 262. The ERA 3.74. I can honestly see this one going either way. Both teams sending out shaky starters. I'm going to go with the Mets to win it. We get a little more production. This has been a very low-scoring series so far. Mets win 6-4. They cover the spread, going with the over. And a really good one, the Atlanta Braves versus the San Diego Padres. 7:15 p.m. on Fox. This is one you want to watch. Both of these teams are going to make the playoffs to me this season. Both of these teams potentially very talented. Well, they might not both make the playoffs, but San Diego's definitely going to make a run at that wild card, and so will the Braves, and also potentially making a run at the NL East. A very talented team, especially when Atlanta gets back Acuna. This team's going to be loaded 1 through 9. San Diego, they have very talented players as well. Atlanta on the road, 1.5 run favorite. They're minus 141. An 8 over-under. San Diego plus 120. Atlanta, 56% chance to win this game. San Diego, a 44% chance to win this game. Last night, the Padres won the second game. They had already won the first, so they're up 2-0 on the Braves. The Braves definitely don't want to get swept to start the season. Too many weapons. Profar, Riley, Olsen, Acuna, Albies, so many weapons. You know this team is going to come alive. You know those bats are going to wake up, and when they do, whoever they're playing is going to pay for it. But the Padres can counter that with their own stars. Tatis Jr., Machado, they have a lot of weapons as well. Looking at the pitching matchup here, both teams, they need to keep those rotations healthy. The Braves, they're going to be going with Schwarzenbach, and for the Padres, they're going with Vasquez. Last season, Braves 4.3 runs a game. They hit 243. Their ERA 3.48, and for San Diego, 4.7 runs per game. They hit 263. You have to respect that offense. Their team ERA 3.86. Both teams can pitch. Both teams can score some runs, but I have Atlanta getting their first win of the season, winning this one 6-3, covering the spread, going with the over. In another NL matchup, the Chicago Cubs visiting the Arizona Diamondbacks at 8:10 p.m. Chicago, they are 1-3 on the season. They got swept by the Dodgers that very first series to start the season, and they've taken one here versus the Diamondbacks. They don't want to drop to 1-4. They have some talent there. Not expecting too much from them this season. They just need some building blocks going forward. Arizona, they want to get back to the playoffs. They want to get back to the World Series, and their offensive roster now with a pretty good pitching staff, they have a shot at that. Right now, the Diamondbacks 1.5 run favorites. They are minus 121 and 8.5 over under. The Cubs are plus 102. Chicago 47% chance to win this game. Arizona has a 53% chance to win this game. Chicago is going to be rolling with Imanga as the starting pitcher, and for Arizona, they're going with Profat. And looking at these team stats here of how these teams performed last season, you have to respect Arizona. They led baseball in runs scored per game. They're bringing a lot of that production back to make another run. Right now, Chicago 4.5 runs per game. They hit 242. Team ERA 3.78. Arizona 5.5 runs per game. They hit 263. The ERA, that's what hurt them last season, but they will be better pitching. It was a 4.62 last season. They have Carroll, Marte, Guerrero Jr., Naylor, Smith, Suarez, Thomas, a lot of weapons on this offensive team. I have the bats winning them this game. They win it 6-2. Chicago drops to 1-4. I have the Diamondbacks covering the spread, but going with the under. And then our next game we're going to have, the Dodgers just continue to win. They're already, 5-4-0 so far this season. Haven't lost a game yet. We're going to have the Detroit Lions visiting the Los Angeles Dodgers. This game's going to be at 9:10 p.m. It went into extra innings last night, 10 innings, and the Dodgers still won. They pounded their way to victory. They won that one 8-5. This might be the best lineup in baseball, might be the best lineup in baseball history. This team, they're trying to break the all-time wins record. They just have to stay healthy, and who knows what kind of production they can put together this season. Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Hernandez, Muncy. There's weapons up and down, and they have a stacked starting rotation. They got a lot of production last night. They're going to continue to get production. They are the favorites here. 1.5 run favorites, minus 209, an 8 over under. Detroit plus 174. Detroit only a 35% chance to win this game. Dodgers a 65%. Detroit has shown some fight. They had it last night, but they couldn't pull it off. But maybe they can pull it off in the third game of this series. They definitely don't want to start out the year getting swept. For the Tigers, they're going to be rolling with Olsen, and the Dodgers are going to be going with the young phenom Sasaki. Detroit, last season, they averaged 4.2 runs a game. They hit 234, ERA 3.61. The Dodgers, the second best offense in baseball last season. They're going to be first this year. They averaged 5.2 runs a game. They hit 258. The team ERA 3.9. There is not a weakness on this roster. Until they lose, I have to go with them winning it. It's kind of just the way it goes. It's really hard to pick against them right now. When they lose, it's going to surprise everyone. They're going to win this one 5-4. I do think it's closer, going with the plus 1.5, going with the over. And the final game we're going to have for Saturday, March 29th, we're going to have the Athletics visiting the Seattle Mariners. This game is going to be starting at 9:40 p.m. on NBC. The Mariners coming off of getting shut out last night by the Athletics. The Athletics were the underdogs. They pounded the Mariners. They won that one 7-0. Muncy comes off the bench. He hits a home run. They got production from every single position, but they're still heavy underdogs in this game. The Mariners, they're going to be 1.5 run favorites. The over-under here is 7. Looking at the pitching matchup we're going to have for the Athletics, they're going to be going with Bido, and Seattle is going to be going with Miller. Looking at the production from last season, because we want to kind of be able to gauge where these teams might fall. We know the Mariners are talented. They have an outlier shot to potentially make the playoffs this season, but they do need a lot of things to go their way. They need to get that hitting on track and keep it on track throughout all 6 months of the regular season. The Athletics averaged 4 runs per game last season. They hit .233. Their ERA 4.37. And for Seattle, you see where there's some promise there. They average 4.2 runs a game. They hit .224. They got to get that average up. If they want any shot to make the playoffs and compete in the AL West, they have to get the batting average up. Very good pitching, though. They pitched to a 3.49 ERA last season. They are the favorites in this game. They are coming off of getting shut out. So for some reason, to me, that means the bats are going to wake up tonight. I have the Mariners winning this one 6-3, covering the spread, and we're going to go with the over. Guys, that's just a quick breakdown of our predictions and best bets for all of our Saturday matchups. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, by all means, drop them below, and I'll respond to every single one of them. Thank you.